you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty amazing today. My name is Arthur Singleton, and I am from Denver, Colorado. Coming up, it was pretty intense, and then like into high school, I figured out not everybody is for you, you know. Basically, started ditching every day, smoking weed every day, not caring about school at all. Corona hit basically when I was a sophomore in high school, and we didn't get back to school until I was a senior. So that whole time during COVID, I literally did not go to school at all. I literally was outside every day on a bike or riding around, just enjoying myself, you know. And that is a time where like my family was going through a lot too, so I made it a point to where I didn't want to be at home at all. Period. So I just was always out and enjoying myself, smoking, like just not paying attention to the reality that I need to finish school. Going back to school my senior year, I started trying to take it serious, not realizing that it was already too late. But they offered me an alternative school or my GED, and I chose the GED route because I thought it was gonna be cakewalk. I thought GED was gonna be easy. I thought I was gonna go in there and knock a couple tests out and just be gone. It was just I didn't know the process that it was gonna take to get those tests done. It was quite a journey. The journey was long, and it's been long. It took me pretty much almost a year and a half, 2 years to get my GED. So like and it would have took a short amount of time if I wasn't smoking weed, because I would have had more focus. I would have been able to stay down more. Even though in my mind I felt like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'll just read a little bit and I'll pass. It wasn't working for me. I had to sit down. I had to grind for hours on end. You have to fail in order to grow. So if you fail, there is no such thing as giving up. Like, you should never have that mindset of that you're not capable of doing something. You just have to be willing to put in more work than you did before to be able to accomplish these goals. And that was what my biggest thing was I would fail something, a practice test, the real test. I failed the last test that I took. I failed it 4 times, and out of two of those times I cried, both two times, because those are the times I really thought I was going to pass it. So for one, when I went and took it, I this was the one time I did the writing part. I did the writing part, and I was so sure of my answers, and I was so sure of how I structured the text because I watched very helpful videos on Cohen's YouTube channel. They were
You don't have to do that.
no. I'm being for real. They were very, very useful, and they helped me structure the essay properly. They helped me structure just everything of how to do it and perceive it. That first test, that first day that I took the test, I was really confident. I felt good. I was like, but I also felt like I was over studying. That is a real thing. You can overstudy. You can study all the way up into the point of the test, because that's exactly what I did, and I felt so confident in myself. But right before I went and took my test, my heart started to beat very heavily, like, okay, this is getting real. And it was because I was overwhelming myself with studying, and like I have a very short attention span. So like I was studying 2 hours before my test, and I was in the testing center. So I was already tired of like, not necessarily tired, but pretty I was done reading for the day. That's how I felt. But not realizing that I didn't really fully grasp that I was finna go take a test, because I was just whimming it like, oh, I'll be fine. I've been studying for this all week. So I go and take the test, and the whole process was pretty intense. I was able to have more than enough time after I was done on each section. I had a lot of time. I had like 5 minutes on each section left when I was done, except the writing part. But I got through every question. I was on top of it. I felt good about my answers. I was very ecstatic. I was like, okay, yeah, I think it's the one time I know I did really great. And I didn't get my results until I got back to school. I hurried up because I like to celebrate with my teachers. So I hurried up to get to the school. I got to the school. They opened them, and I missed it by 2 points. That was like, to me, it made me so angry. Like, I was angrier than I've ever been. Like, I just wanted to punch something. Like, I just felt like I just started talking reckless. Like, it was really bad. Like I didn't know what to do with myself because I was that close. Like I literally was 2 points off. So to me, that was like I was so frustrated. I didn't know what to do. I tried to talk to Mr. Itamar. It didn't work. It didn't help. He just said, "Bro, you," he said he tried to tell me it was testosterone and like just me being me. And I'm like, I don't know, bro. I said I was very upset. So I ended up leaving there and I went in on a walk. They asked me to just go on a walk, so I went on a walk by myself. At first, I was gonna put my headphones in and just jam out to some music, but I stumbled across this homeless man who was just sitting on the concrete. So I was just intrigued. I sat down with him and I had a simple conversation with him. I asked him how his day was going, and we just talked about life for a while. And then I low key vented to him about my test because he doesn't know me, I don't know him. It was just like a perfect opportunity. He said, "How are you doing?" And I said, man, I'm very irritated. I didn't pass my test today, and it was very important to me, and it was my last test, and he gave me a couple good. He just gave me good advice on how to do it better next time, how to handle myself next time. And then he was writing all these notes on a piece of cardboard, and I told him I loved him, just because out of generosity. I feel like, he doesn't hear that often. So I told him I loved him. He said, he wrote a question mark and said, "What does this mean?" And he asked me, and I said, "What do you?" He said, "What do you mean by that?" And I said, "I genuinely love and respect you because you took the time out of your day to talk to me, and I've been to you about something that really means a lot to me." And I just learned a lot about like how to be patient and how to not overwhelm myself with certain things, because something is telling me not to overwhelm myself with studying, to just focus on it, not to do too much. Just you know what you know and you know what you don't know. So focus on what you do know. But I knew everything already. So the next day I didn't do nothing but watch cartoons on my way there, and then I got there, I watched some more cartoons. Not to say that's a good idea, but just saying that to say I didn't overwhelm my thought process, my mind, or anything that I was doing with the testing. I went in there, I took the test, and I went back to the front and I answered all the questions except two questions on that test. And I was so worried because I didn't get to answer those questions that I was going to fail. And I spent so much time on those questions. I really thought it was over. Dunzo, bunzo. I was gone out of there. Spoof, out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was over with. But my results took longer than expected to get in. And then after my results came at the school, I didn't want to look at the test yet. I was scared because I was like, there's no way. I don't think I passed this. And this was the day after I took the other test. So I really thought like maybe I rested. Like I was just second guessing myself the whole way. Like I was screaming on the Lime scooter, jumping up and down, like just raging because I'm like, I could have did better. Better is always best. So I literally was trying my hardest to keep my composure, but it just wasn't working. I got to the school and they told me my test results came in. I told them not to look. I wanted to look myself, so I had took my time to look, and I never opened it. I didn't open it yet, and then I had got another email after my test results that said you have earned a new badge. That just threw me over heels, head over heels. I said, and then Miss Walsh, she just came and spilled the beans and said, "Go look, just go look. It's all good. Just look there. Yeah, you'll enjoy this one." And I was like, okay. I went and looked. As soon as I found out I passed my last test, I went up and ran, did a whole lap in the hallway. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I was expecting some confetti because Miss Martinez said that'll be there. So yeah, it was pretty exciting though. It was amazing, and that's when I realized what I had to overcome and how far I've come. And one thing that Miss Martinez made me recognize, or not made me, but helped me recognize, was that always realize where you have come from and where you started at, because that is the biggest thing that has defined you to this moment. So you have to recognize that so you can actually see how far you've actually come and how much you've actually achieved. It'll just be great. It'll be phenomenal. It'll be astronomical. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
You like stumbled on this wise homeless man, and like, I mean, that sounds like you're on a mythical quest. In
Yeah, and in this lifetime, that's what I'm saying, is like you never know what could happen to help you get to that next level, or who it could be. Like, you never know. Like, that's why I always keep an open heart and an open mind with anybody you meet. Anybody. If you are offered help from anybody, take it. If you're suggested new ways to study, take it. Do not have your guard up if you choose to get your GED, because that you will not be successful that way. It'll only bring you down. Now, I drive a car. I used to talk about getting a car every day when I would walk, and now I'm in a car. Now I'm preserving my energy for the things that are right for my life, you feel me? And I'm prospering, because that's just what happens when you stay down and you work hard enough for it and you weather the storm. Who doesn't love this now, So
Arthur, this was great.
yeah, I loved it.
This was great. Thank you so much for doing it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.